Hey, everybody. My name is Matthew Murray over in Murraysville, North Carolina. The craziest thing that ever happened to me in my agency is I walked in during COVID to someone getting their haircut with their barber in the office.
And who are you? Oh, you already did that.
Yeah, he said he's Matthew Murray.
Oh, okay, but you gotta do it. And I'm an insurance dude.
Oh, we didn't tell him that.
Yeah, you didn't tell me that before.
Craig. Okay, do it.
and I'm an insurance dude.
Boom!
Insurance dudes are on a mission to escape being handcuffed by our agencies.
How? By uncovering the secrets to creating a predictable, consistent, and profitable agency sales machine.
I am Craig Pretzinger.
I am Jason Feldman.
We are agents.
We are insurance dudes.
I mean, the one thing that Jason and I like, if somebody says, and I'm an insurance dude, we could be anywhere. We'll just go, boom.
That is the thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know, I say all the time that the only people that want to talk about insurance are insurance agents. Insurance isn't sexy, but the money's X-rated, right? And so I find, I do a podcast, I train agents all day long, and I'm like, man, I love insurance. But it's like the best repellent in the world. If you're at a party, you go, hey, I sell insurance, right? And people walk away.
Yeah, it's so true.
If I don't want to talk to somebody, I just be like, hey, I sell insurance. I'm like, oh, I got it. I'm like, see ya.
Ned the head, needle nose head, got the shingles real bad in 7th grade.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bing!
Bing.
Right.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, how did you get into this crazy world? Take us back to when you were young and dying to just dive into the insurance world.
God, that must have been back when I was 60.
Yeah, right. When I went to bed praying at night saying I'd like to sell final expense insurance on a commission only basis, please. Like no one's ever said that prayer, right? I dropped out of high school twice. I never went to college. I became a finance manager, which is Southern for finance. And my office got broken into twice in 1 week, and they blamed me for it. So as a 25-year-old dude with no college education that was living, 2 hours away from home that got fired, my friend said, hey, you want to do something with some old people and some insurance? And I said, 100%. I'm coming to work on Monday. And I watched this guy that made $1 million a year. We're going to air quotes it because I don't really know. Who knows to this day? He's still a mentor of mine, and we talk, but he dressed in a fancy suit. He said, blah, 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 commission percent. If you collect a $50 check, we're going to pay you $315. And then he went on to the next slide. And I remember sitting front row at this sales, event thing, you will. And I raised my hand real high. And I said, can you rewind the tape like 5 minutes for me? And he went, what? And I went, I have 3 questions for you. Is that legal? How many times can I do it in a day? And where the hell do I get my license?
Yeah.
And that was on a Monday. And on Monday, he said, you can do it as many times as you want, as long as you have your license, and you study and get your test and blah, blah, blah. And I said, what if I pass it tomorrow? And he said, yeah, I mean, technically you could get it. You should study. And I said, well, no one ever asked the doctor what they made on their test. They just know doctor. So I didn't study. I passed with a 71 and got my insurance license the next day.
No way.
Yeah. And then on Wednesday, I got, my actual license. You had to take the exam, Pearson VUE. Wednesday, I got my actual license. It was in Columbia, South Carolina. So I just drove to the Department of Insurance in South Carolina, paid the fee, got it the same day, got contracted on Thursday. And on Friday, they told me about these things called leads. Has anybody ever heard of leads? And I was like, you're going to give me people that want this stuff too, and you're going to pay me? I was like, this is the best job in the world. But the lead wasn't an actual lead. It was a walk list. It was a mailing list. And so I just had an Excel spreadsheet. And the first door I knocked on, her name's Miss Jocelyn. I'll never forget her. I knocked on the door. She thought I was the police, and she opened the door, and I said, hey, you filled out a card about insurance. She goes, no, I did not. And I said, the only reason I'm here is because you did. So we got to do this. And she says, come on in. So I sat down with her, and I got real close with her. And I said, Mary, Jocelyn, I don't know what I'm doing. But what I do know is if you give me a $50 check right now, I'm going to make $300. I didn't say that. I said, I can get you exactly, I did the math, $10,183. And she looked at me. She goes, for real? I said, yes, ma'am. That's what he told me. And
that's what he told me.
And she didn't even, she didn't know the company. She said, you write the check for me. I did it for her.
Oh my!
I did the application. God. She got approved. I knocked on 6 doors that day. I got into 4 homes because 4 people were home. I did the exact same presentation and sold 4 policies. The next Monday.
On your first day, you were like the superhero.
But this is your 3rd day, like since you heard of this, right?
Yeah. Monday, I heard about it. Friday, 4 sales.
Sunday, you didn't even know what insurance was.
Couldn't tell you. The next Monday, because they had, it was a big recruiting model, MLM type place. Monday, I'm sitting there like all pumped up. I'm like, damn, I got all this money. And the guy starts talking again and does the exact same presentation of how much money you can make. And I raised my hand again and he went, yes, sir. I said, when do we get paid? He said, what do you mean? I said, I got 4 applications here with 4 checks for $50 each. By my calculations, you owe me $1,260. And he said, you did 4? And I said, yes, sir. He goes, did you send these to the home office? I said, you didn't say anything about a home office. You just told me to collect check. He goes, wait a second, you got 4 $50 checks? I said, yeah. He said, what if it cost more? What if they wanted more? I said, you didn't tell me that. You told me to collect a $50 check. I was that dumb when I first got. I was legitimately just tell me what to do. I'm going to go make money.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it's so good.
And so he goes, you want to teach the class? And I said, boy, do I ever. This is the best thing in the world. So I started teaching agents on how they're like, how did you do it? And I'm like, I just walked up to them and told them, give me a check and they need this much insurance. But then, reality set in and I sit in the home office and the people did get approved, but the commission percent wasn't exactly how it was and a 50% advance and blah, all these different things started happening. And I worked there for about 2 years and started to learn. And then I just kind of transitioned into more of a broker and just kept going from there.
I love it. That is so many lessons within that period of the story of the first 5 days. Cause I love the fact that how many times this is the best sales lesson on the planet. You don't need to know anything about anything before you do something. And a lot of times, almost everybody that I talk to about sales or even just doing a new venture is like, okay, I need the list. I need the all the background. I need to like be the best at whatever, right? You just went in, took the test. You could have failed it. Who cares? Like, you just did it. You took action. And then the other thing was the fact of you knew nothing about the product, but you just went to sell it. I mean, it's almost like you put the least amount of thought possible, which created the most amount of results.
I decided to become ignorant in what I was doing.
Well, you had to sell yourself instead of the thing because you didn't know the thing. You know yourself, which is creating the rapport. Boom.
100%.
Because that's all sales is, right? 50% of it minimum is rapport, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
They didn't ever ask me what company it was and all this stuff. I just said, look, I'm giving dollars for pennies. I couldn't believe it. I said, look, and I'm country. So I had like the paper applications. I'm like, look, they even told me like, I got this thing called conditional receipt. And I licked it. I didn't have scissors, did that and like ripped it off. And I was like, if they say you're approved on the phone and you give me a check, if I leave here and an acorn hits you on the wrong side of the head, you're covered. This is the craziest thing. I was like, I can't believe this. This is real. And they're like, really? And I'm like, I'm telling you, they keep telling me it's real. And I just kept selling, selling.
But dude, that's how simple it really is. But like the complication comes within. Right?
What do I say when they say this? What do everybody future trips
everything about the policy. Yeah. It's like all those things.
So
people get ready to get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get ready to get ready to get. Yeah. My first sales job was selling cars, which probably was one of the best learnings or, things to just get thrown into. I didn't know anything. The first month I was salesman of the month because I didn't know anything. Like I just would go up to everybody, everybody. They call it when you work they call it an up, like taking an up. So the people that walk on the lot are ups. And like, I learned very quickly that you can't just hand out the brochure, right? Like that I was basically selling it for the guy down the street. And one of the older guys came, he said, hey, you just need to freaking close them. You can't give them the thing or they're going to walk down to Toyota and buy a Toyota because you did all the work. And now the other guy just has to close them. So, finish it. And so he told me what to do and that was it. But it was because I was taking all the new ones and I didn't like pre-qualify them or think they couldn't do it or whatever, right? Like you just went in, it didn't matter. It didn't matter how bad their house looked, it didn't matter. You just freaking went in there and they were going to buy and you were excited about it. And I was excited about these stupid Chevy Malibus back in 98, and made people buy it. I mean, it's
a great car. Yeah. I know I sold a very specific type of insurance. It was final expense. It still is final expense. I'm a final expense nut. I know it sounds weird, but I'm more of a senior citizen nut. It's grown into hospital indemnity and Medicare and all these different things. But I was a final expense guy because it was very easy for me to understand. You are going to pass away.
Proof. Yeah.
You need this. I have this. You want this. The sale was over for me. It was like, and even today, I train agents all day long and they come up with all these crazy objections. And it's just like, when you realize there's only really 7 main objections that happen.
That's it.
It comes down to the people don't trust you or it's not affordable to them.
Right.
But if I sit down with somebody about life insurance, I look at them as they're crazy if they don't want to buy from me, because why am I here?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I set an appointment. You filled out a card. You filled out a form on Facebook, right? Less than 1% of people fill out a form. You would never, ever, ever walk to your mailbox, bring it back in, sort through the mail, find a working pen, put your personal information on a card, lick the envelope, walk back to the mailbox,
put a stamp,
put it
on
back in the mailbox, and put your flag in, right? That's crazy. But that's the demographic that is final expense in Medicare. And so it's kind of like if Craig ordered a pizza and he said, hey, instead of spaghetti sauce, I want peanut butter. And instead of cheese, I want half-cooked spaghetti noodles. And instead of pepperonis, actually, I want pepperonis, but I'm going to put gumballs on there too.
Yeah.
We'd all agree that's a really weird pizza. Less than 1% of people ever would do that. Right. But if I knocked on Craig's door and I held the pizza like this and Craig looked at me dead in the eyes and go, I didn't order that, I would look at him like he's crazy, because the only reason I'm holding this pizza and I have a job is because you ordered this.
Right.
And so the mentality for leads for me, it was very simple. People did an action in order for me to have a reaction to be here. And so it's a very, very simple thing. And then I started learning about, marketing and leads, and I got really good at Facebook leads and just got in the mindset of a senior citizen. And it's been fun ever since, man. I love it.
So what was the next hurdle? I mean, that had to be tough when you realize like these policies didn't go through. These guys are kind of
what the biggest thing that I had to overcome very early was, because I was so new and naive and ignorant, that I didn't get the contract that was even street, that wasn't even like an okay contract to give out to an agent. And I quickly realized I was at the bottom of this pyramid scheme. And so for the only way for me to get to the top is if 9 people die, quit, or change their mind. But I love the culture that I was with. It was some of the best training that I've ever received, ever. They taught me how to dress. They had taught me how to talk. They taught me how to walk. They taught me the Columbo method of selling.
One more thing.
And yeah, just real quick, one more thing before I get out of here.
Good. I love it.
You could do that. Just keep going and keep going. Eventually people are like, all right, I'll freaking buy it from you, right?
Oh, wait. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, just real quick. But they taught me all these things, but I realized that I wasn't going to move up because of how the system was set. There was a guy that had a 120-point contract. I had a 50. So that means there's so many people in between. And I'm going, well, how am I supposed to get to there? And they were like, oh, well, just keep selling. Just keep selling. And I would go and recruit. And because I was their main recruiter, because I was good on stage and talking to people and so all the new people would come up to me and be like, man, are you doing, like, is this really fun? I'm like, yeah, this is the greatest job in the world. You get to talk to old people all day long and they teach you stuff and you make money. Like, this is the best thing ever. But the hurdle was trying to figure out and being okay with leaving that culture in knowing or not knowing that I'd still be friends with those people today, because I love people. I like, making friends. And so I thought, well, if I leave this place, then they're going to hate me. So I had to get past that. And I can tell you that those people don't hate me, that those same people offered me a job when I left my previous position, that they still want me to work with them.
Yeah.
Right. And they love me and we're still friends. Like, we're still friends, So if you're an agent, if you're watching this and you're kind of like, man, I'm kind of stuck in this thing. You're not. The insurance business is such a good opportunity for anybody. And it's kind of like, it's like an upside down tree. Once you get rooted, those roots spread out everywhere. You have so many opportunities.
Yeah.
100%.
So what year did you start?
2015.
Okay. So a lot's changed in digital marketing and the landscape. There was some kind of weird event happened in the middle there between today and
Everybody got sick.
Yeah, somebody got sick. I don't know. Something. But talk about how you've adjusted the mechanics of your marketing as time has progressed and as you've become higher up on the food chain.
I wouldn't say that much has changed. It's more of, from the marketing's perspective, the only thing I would say has changed rapidly is how fast people intake information. So and I'll go super nerdy here if you want me to, but when someone's scrolling through Facebook, you've got about a 1.1 to 1.2 second chance to get them to stop on your ad.
Yeah.
And if anybody pulls out their phone right now and looks at their Facebook, it's going to be something relevant to you, ad, relevant ad. And no one can tell you what the 14th ad on their Facebook profile was today.
Right.
And so it's the trick is to get them to fill out the information that you need as soon as possible and get them back to Facebook, get them back to where they were at before.
Don't disrupt.
And then most people have told me in my career that as soon as a lead comes in, you're supposed to do what?
Call them.
Wrong, personally.
No, but I was answering what most of the people would say.
That is exactly. That's what they say. But I think that's wrong, because after about a year of doing the first company, I didn't want to pay for direct mail. So I started learning digital advertising. And all I did for the next year to 2 years was I was doing Facebook ads in 2017. I would go to that person's house, and this is my entire presentation during those 2 years. I'd go, Craig, I know you're going to buy insurance from me, because why the hell else would I be here? You filled out a form on Facebook, right? About this. What I want to know is what made you click on this? Was it the picture? Was it the wording? What did you not like? What did you like? What is your experience as a client from seeing all these new things? And so I have hundreds and hundreds of copious notes of clients telling me what they like and didn't like about the process. And so I adjusted the process to make the client experience feel like it's not even sales. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's we all use automations and CRMs and blah, 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 right? But the ones that, as soon as lead comes in, dialer, sys call, Mary, you must be looking for insurance right now. No, I was sitting on my couch watching a TV show and I saw your ad. So I kind of, slowly but surely allow the seniors to engage with me, or the automation, if you will. And it takes about a 20 to 25 minute ramp up period. But then the propensity score of that person filling out an appointment or actually remembering why they filled out a form is much higher if you allow them to stair step their way into it, versus being like, you filled out a form about insurance, you better call me right now. It's changed so much, and now because of the FCC rules are changing, there's a lot of one-to-one stuff that a lot of agents that don't know how to market. It's becoming more of a superpower in today's economy.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities being created right now.
100%.
So what would you say are a few tips that you would give someone who might be less capable in that venue? That might be
Everybody is just as capable. Copy, but don't paste. Copy and enhance. Kanye West, as crazy as he might be, copied other people's things and made it better, right? So you can go to Facebook ad library right now and look up an ad and copy somebody else's ad, but then mimic it, master it, make it your own. Mimic what they're doing, master it, and then make it your own thing.
Model it.
If it works. Yeah. If you see a Facebook ad on ad and it says it's been running for 2 months, there's a pretty good likelihood that that's a good ad.
Where can they find that?
Facebook ad library.
Oh, look at that. Jason was curious.
Yeah. Listen, it's completely free because of what happened in 2020 during the election. They made it to where very transparent, where all ads have to be able to be searched. And so all you have to do is, as is a Google Facebook ad library, type in whatever type of insurance you want to copy. You'll see all these different types of creatives and pictures and ads. Okay, screenshot, save that onto your desktop and make something similar, but then make it your own thing.
Right.
And start testing it, but you have to be willing to lose a little bit of money in order to get better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like some new things have come out over the last year that I can't.
A lot has.
In the tech world, what kind of things, or how have you used like LLMs, the various Anthropic or ChatGPT, like how have you incorporated these new tools that are so insanely different than what we had access to before?
I steer away from them.
Oh, interesting.
I think, and again, I'm speaking more from a senior focused final expense, Medicare, hospital indemnity type client. If technology is weird for me, you, and most people on this call, because it's evolving really rapidly. Think of how scary it is for a senior that they don't even know if the person they're talking to is a real human at this point. And so if you can go away from it and be like, hey, I'm a real person. I'm from here. It's me. They feel like, the sigh of relief that comes from that is immediate trust factor. Now, I'll use ChatGPT for Excel formulas and, things that I'm really bad at. But when it comes to advertising, I stay far away. I know it sounds weird. I think the AI will get really, really advanced to where it's almost kind of crazy. I mean, who knows if you guys are even real at this point? I got invited to come on to some famous podcast, and I don't know. You guys sound like you're surrounded by pillows. Who knows if you guys are real at this point?
Not real.
Exactly. But you sound fantastic.
So if you want to have some fun, go to I'll tell you at a different point. I'm not trying to plug my other thing, but I have another thing that's all AI, and it's interesting because it's goofy and wonky. You can like the voice you can't tell, I don't think, but the video's a little weird, but it's all AI. I think that there's a lot to learn from that. Like it is definitely something that's going to replace a lot of tasks, right? Like at first, everybody was having the shock and doom and gloom. Everybody's job's gone, 80 million jobs, all this stuff. Now it's more like, well, maybe not that, but a lot of tasks, right, are gonna get AI'd away. And I think the folks that are able to capitalize on some of that are probably going to be a little bit ahead be able to move
Yes.
quicker. I definitely think that you can't be putting something in front of customers that's going to freak them out, but people are going to become pretty used to, at least on the front end, seeing these conversations, like with you can't even tell the difference with some of them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I use ChatGPT quite a bit from like Excel spreadsheets and video editing. I mean, it's insane.
Oh yeah,
what it can do.
Yeah.
I mean, it cuts down the frames, the time frame from something that used to take 6 hours, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Once you set the rules on it, it's crazy what it does.
It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, I just look from a bit like a business aspect, like not even client facing, like, let's just leave that off. But like business wise, there's so many things in an agency that agents, we're PNC, but we do some life, your final expense. There's all this day-to-day crap that people do that they get, that basically eats into the time for a sales first organization, right? Like really at the end of the day, all of the agents need to sell, right? That's it. Selling.
Sure.
Like their number one activity is to talk to people, to have these appointments like you had, or for our sales agents to be on the phone doing home and auto quotes. Like if they're not doing that, it's costing us money, right? And if we could like do account paperwork or processing billing or renewals or whatever, like all these things that classically we would have a human do that really didn't require a human, can make us so much more nimble,
Yeah, I agree in a lot of ways. I'd also say that like a dog chasing cars. I'm not sure what to do when I actually caught one, but I'd say that AI is not going to take anybody's job. It's the person that doesn't understand AI.
Yes.
Their job will be taken. You have to make AI your, for lack of better words, we're going to say a B word. We all know we know what I'm saying. You got to make it. You got to make it your own thing. Like I speak my ChatGPT. Like that's not good enough. You need to do better. Rewrite this. Like I train it. The prompting ChatGPT is more important than ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Well, that's
learning how to get it to write the way that you write and act and speak the way that you speak is the important part of how to categorize. Write me an essay on donkey and talk about the differences to the different types of donkeys and how big their teeth are and what most people call them. And this is how I want it written.
Yeah.
Prompting it, it'll spit out exactly what you need.
Yeah.
But if you have to keep going back in, it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
That's
the intelligence part of the artificial intelligence, is that you can continue that conversation and get it better. It's just like training one of your team members or something. Same thing.
Yeah, exactly right.